Let's go ahead and append the actual details that we talked about here. So in this case here, if there's 23, we would not know exactly what it is. Is it 23 size, 23 quantity? What is it? So let's go ahead and do that real quick here so we can move forward. So here where we're setting things up, we can just append inside of our text here. So I'm going to just say for our name here, I'm going to say item like that. Of course, it will need us to actually do the right way. I'm going to use the format as such. That looks good. And color, I'm going to say color as such. This is going to be the same thing. I'm going to say QTY. This as well. We're going to fix all those errors or warnings in a second here. Say size. Okay. And this, I'm going to say added on like that. All right, let's go ahead and start doing those fixes. Okay, let's save this and refresh real quick. We should be able to see the difference in a second here. Looks like some of these items are on top of each other. Size is null. Let's see. It could be that we're not showing the text view. Let's go back to our list row here because this is where everything is happening. Let's trace back. So our item color, start from the top. Okay, debugging time. We have item name, which is that at the top there. Very good. And then we have item quality, which is going to be below item name. There we go. Makes sense. And then item color is going to be below item quantity. That makes sense because at the top we have item quantity. So far so good. Item size is below item quantity. That's not good because it should be below item color. Let's change that to say item color like that. There we go. The moment you did that, you saw that we are now seeing things are not on top of each other. That's very good. So I think we should be able to save and run now. We should hopefully see good results. Looks like we must run from the beginning. All right, so now we can see all of the items here. So we get quantity, color, size, and add it on. Very good. But you notice here our color is always null. It seems like we haven't been able to save it because all of these are actually showing null. So we understand that all of that happens where? Well, all of these happens inside of our database handler. So let's go and take a look where we're actually adding things to our database handler. Let's go to where we're setting things, get item, add item. So we're adding get item color. Very good. So it's being added perfectly there. So it's there. So get item, we are getting quantity, item size, and I don't see color here. Let's add this constant dot color like that. So that is probably what we've been missing. I'm going to copy this. And also when we iterate through, all right, we're not getting the color. So I'm going to come down here, say item dot set item color cursor dot get string cursor dot get column index constants dot color key color like that. All right, so we've made a few mistakes here, so that's nice. It's set get all items. Let's make sure we get any color here. I'm gonna just put there constant key color. In fact, let me change the order where I put the color just to be consistent, folks. So it's gonna right after the item like this. So we got to set color, quantity, size, name. Very good. And of course, we're gonna do the same thing here. So we just made this mistake a while back. It's all right. It's a good exercise. So this is gonna be color. There we go. So we're getting that and setting to our set item color. Very good. At this point here in our update, we did it right. So we are setting our key color and the rest get items. Okay, very good. So I think at this point here, we should rewind this. There we go. Now the colors are showing. Yay. Very good. So if you even look at our There we go. So colors were there, it's just that we weren't actually retrieving those colors for the reasons that you just saw there, okay? Things like that happen. Don't panic. That's why we actually test things out and make sure everything is working correctly. Very good. So things are looking much, much better. We are debugging, doing things. And also remember that I'm doing this way, right? I could have just hidden all of these errors from you so everything is clean. And although that is kind of nice for you who's watching, but this is also a way for me to show you that when you develop things, things happen, right? Nobody's perfect. You're going to make mistakes, as you see here. Things are not going to work. And so it's important to not panic, but trace down what's going on. And sometimes it may take a long time to figure things out where you have missed a semicolon. In fact, semicolons, if you miss something like that, it's easier to get to that because the debugger will be able to get you at least that answer. But things like this where we really didn't make a syntax error, right? So it was more of a even logical error in a way. We just missed adding something that was important for us to be able to retrieve what we want to retrieve. So it's a very frustrating bug, but at least we were able to fix, and you saw how to do things like that. So whenever you are stuck, something is happening and you don't know what's really going on, it's okay to retrace back as I'm showing you. That's the reason why I'm actually showing you as I make a few mistakes here and there, and I rectify it with you and showing you how to do that. So that's another very, very important tool that you should have with you so that you understand how all of this works. All right, so there we go. So now, as you see, we're able to see all of the colors, all of the things that we want to see in our item that was added for our baby. Now, the other thing we need to get to work here is we're going to add another floating action button here, a FAB. Now, we could have done this and saved us a lot of time in this case. When we created this list view, or I should say list view activity, we could have chosen the activity that contained the FAB button. But not all is lost. So at this point here, we can actually go and create ourselves a floating button here. Now, the reason why we would want to have such thing here is because we don't want to have the users go back to the main screen to be able to add something. So actually, the flow of this app is going to be in such a way that if the user haven't done anything, so the first time the users open this application, they're going to see that entry point where they will have a chance to click and add a new item. Okay, where the pop-up comes up and add item, and they save, and then they will take into this window here. So when they take into this window here, they would also be able from here to click on the add button and invoke the alert dialog where they can add the baby item. That way they don't have to go back to the main window and do all sort of things. So that helps the usability of the application. So let's go to our list, activity list here, and see if we can add ourselves the floating action bar. So right about here, I'm going to go ahead and say floating. Click enter, and I'm going to make this wrap content. As such, you can't see anything yet. You will in a second. I'm going to say ID. Give it this ID that will say FAB like this. So what's happening here, you can see it's right at the top there because we are indeed inside constraint. So I'm going to pull it to the bottom there. If I want, I can just make it so that it has a few constraints like this. I don't want to be that low, so I'm going to put it right about there, okay? That's where I want it to be. Very good. So I have it there. Layout margin of about, I can use that FAB margin. There we go. Let's save this and see what's going to happen. And there you go. That looks good. Not too bad. There's nothing in there because we haven't added anything. So let's go ahead and actually add an icon. I'm going to say source. We're going to use the source as such. And I'm going to go to the Android namespace, go to drawable, and instead of delete, we want IC add or input add like that. So there is that plus there. I'm going to save this, refresh. All right, so there we go. We have it. In the next video, we are going to work with this. We're going to make it so that users are going to be able to click on this and invoke the same thing we saw in the main activity. All right, I'll see you next.